All right, everyone, here's your Wednesday update on the upcoming Arctic blast and winter storm that's going to impact a huge swath of the country. This storm could be massive, and it's going to stretch for such a large distance. We are talking about this major winter storm developing on Friday, impacting everywhere from New Mexico up through the Northeast. From Albuquerque to Albany, you may be seeing big impacts, and everywhere in between, this storm could be quite a massive storm. So we have a lot to talk about. We've got a lot that we want to try to detail, but we have to make sure you understand we're still 4 days away from this storm really developing for parts of the eastern United States. So there's still some uncertainties, but we will get down to it and talk about what we can tell you. So let's go right into what we are going to discuss, which is, first of all, the cold air. Temperatures are going to plummet dramatically as we head into really Saturday. We're going to be seeing those numbers drop to the 20s by Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. They are going to continue to be in those frigid numbers. Those are your high temperatures, all right? We're way below the average as we head into early next week too. So your high temperatures in the 20s, your low temperatures could actually be in the single digits. So this is going to be very cold, and that's going to be the beginning of the very cold air. Once that's in place, this is what's going to move in. The winter storm will start to impact much of the eastern United States. We're talking mainly the mid-Atlantic, starting late Saturday night into Sunday. That's when the snow will be heaviest. But things may get a little interesting here. What we're talking about now is the potential for a little warm air to kind of nose its way in and bring the potential of a wintry mix. What we most likely would see this is in the form of possibly some sleet or even some freezing rain. So let me show you some of the raw data now that we are looking at side by side. This is a look of the GFS model on the left, the European model on the right. I'm going to scrub through this and you'll be able to see as we move through time what could transpire, each one showing a slightly different scenario, but they're all showing a major storm system. Now this is something interesting. Down in the southeastern United States, the European is favoring a lot more pink colored, which is freezing rain, while the GFS is favoring a little bit more sleet. The sleet would be a much better thing to happen for a couple of reasons. One, yes, it will impact and cause problems on the roads, but sleet, when it falls, remember they're hard pellets. They're already frozen before they hit the ground. And if that happens, it will save a lot of folks from the widespread tree damage and power outages. That would be great if all this fell as sleet and not as freezing rain. Is that going to happen? Only time will tell, but take a look again. There's still the possibilities of each. Now you see some of that freezing rain could possibly nose its way in to parts of Maryland and the mid-Atlantic. Will we see that? Possibly, or it could stay as snow as the GFS is saying. Again, I tend to favor the European model a little bit more just because it tends to be a little bit more reliable, at least it has been lately. So we've got to watch this, but if we had a little bit of sleet, all it would do is change our totals a little bit for some of these regions. We're still going to see a lot of heavy snow across the region. But as you can see, the European model also has the storm exiting much sooner, whereas the GFS has it lingering a little bit later into Monday morning. So we will keep an eye on that and whether or not we will actually have it as a wintry mix or as all snow is still a little bit of a question mark. So we're not fully confident on that yet, but we'll start to get there a little bit as we move in the next few days. Either way, the storm should exit either late Sunday night or early Monday. We're kind of hazy on the exit, but the entry point is about normal. All right, talking about the confidence levels, we're pretty high confidence on the timing where it moves in around our region late into Saturday night and then going into Sunday. The storm path is still a little hazy because that does make a huge difference. If the storm path is not high confidence, then the precipitation types and totals will be a little bit lower. Storm path means a lot for what we see around here and everywhere else. So let's just look at the overall totals. We will talk totals a little bit right now. A model comparison of all the totals. Wow, this is showing some big numbers for the Baltimore area. We're talking 10 inches plus. That is a huge amount of snow. We have not seen that in 10 years. 2016, about this time, is when we had a blizzard moving through. So, are we going to see that? Maybe not. Possible, but maybe not. Let me show you more about what I'm expecting here. This is the probabilities of at least this much snow. So, a guarantee that we will see at least 3 inches of snow pretty much statewide. With the exception of very southern Maryland, which is just a little bit out of our reach. But as you can see, the chances of 6 inches or more of snow are still present, and slightly lower. Not a complete guarantee, but very high. So at least 6 inches, I'm still saying we have high confidence of that. 12 inches of snow, it's on the table, but it is nowhere near certain. In fact, we're kind of splitting the fact that some areas could have a slightly better than average shot, but not by much. So the northwestern portion of the state will likely see a little bit more snow than, say, the southeastern portion of the state, because they may not be getting the sleet. That again will change a lot. Sleet is heavy and it can compress down onto the snowpack that would already be there, which would lower the overall amounts. So that's why we have, say, Eastern Shore counties, much lower probability of a foot of snow or more. But still on the table. We're not taking it off the table yet because things can change either way. Now, this is how much snow we could see, and this is my first crack at the forecast. At least 4 to 6 inches of snow. That's kind of where we're at. But also most likely 8 to 12 inches. That's my window right now. And again, that window will narrow, but also could shift up or down a little bit as we get closer. But this is where we are thinking right now. And I'm giving this a very early forecast. I almost never give snow totals this early. Why am I doing it? A, I want to give some information that I have. B, I have a slightly more confidence that we will see accumulating snow out there. And again, a 3-inch difference isn't that big of a deal when you're already looking at 6 inches plus of snow. But a 3-inch difference when you're going from 0 to 3 inches, well, that is night and day to people. So if we're confident on higher snow totals, we might be able to give you an idea of how much we are expecting, especially over 6 inches looks pretty likely right now. Next, we're going to talk about, again, the forecasting process. So take a good look. This is where we are in the process. Normally, when we're 7 to 10 days out, we're just talking about pattern recognitions. Is it going to be more favorable for some winter weather? Well, we were watching that last week, and the answer was, yeah, we were seeing it. And then, of course, the last 5 to 7 days, we were looking for trends. Does it appear more or less likely to happen? And it absolutely looked more likely to happen. And now we're looking at storm types. Will it be snow, sleet, or ice? Well, it looks like it's going to be mostly snow, but some sleet could work its way in. And as we get 1 to 3 days out, that's when we're usually talking about exact timing, exact amounts, and exact locations. But we're giving this to you a couple of days early here, so you're getting kind of a sneak peek, but it could change a bit, so at least be aware and ready for that. All right, now into the 10-day forecast. We have 3 weather alerts on here. It is going to be brutally cold before the system even begins. We're talking Saturday highs in the 20s, lows starting Friday night into Saturday morning in the low teens. We could even be seeing single digits on Monday night. Again, we've got that small chance for snowfall on Monday here as we head into Monday morning. We could still see a few lingering snow showers, but the majority of the system is likely to be gone. But as you can tell, again, we've got 3 weather alert days. 2 of those are for the cold, the frigid Arctic air that's going to be lingering from Saturday onward, but Tuesday could be especially cold. Now, we're going to be watching this. I'll have more updates in the next few days, but things could change, and they absolutely will a little bit in the coming days. So make sure you're tuning in. We're going to have another update as we move into tomorrow evening. So Thursday evening, we'll see you then.